I love conspiracy theories so much. I was practically raised off of game theory and the History Channel. I spent weeks of my life falling deeper and deeper into the weirdest rabbit holes. Did Gary's Raticate die on the SS Anne? Who were the spooky people watching me in Mario Galaxy? And what was the deal with those scary monkey people in Halo 3? That last one still creeps me out to this day. Video game theories are the best way to scratch that tiny itch in your lower spine for more content from an otherwise finished game. And as someone that plays a dead game for a living, I decided to do a little deep dive into the world of Plants vs Zombies conspiracy theories on a whim, and I found some absolute gold to share with you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. My next video is my third installment of my all-time favourite project of mine, the Every Reference Ever series. And I'm pretty sure I found the most referenced franchise in history, so stay tuned for that video, it's turning out amazing. Without further ado, enjoy this video. Our first theory is Plants vs Zombies Imps are children. The Imps are some of the most single represented zombies in the entire franchise. But have you ever stopped to think that the hordes of micro zombies you're mowing down may be the poor, defenseless, lost souls of children? This theory comes from wiki user Teku. There's no one grand secret of this theory, but instead a myriad of small behaviors and patterns that imply, that's OP's pun, not mine, that the Imps are maybe children. Firstly, there's the physical traits of the Imps. They're small and hyperactive little ankle biters, definitely reminiscent of children. But there's much more. In Garden Warfare 2, Steve states that he's programmed to babysit the Imps, and the Imps also demand to use the playground. If this theory is true, then it has some very unfortunate implications. The fallen, anguished, risen corpses of children is not the best mental image, and it really makes you rethink the All-Stars Imp punting ability. So how do I rate this theory? Well, I started with this theory for a reason. And that's because I, Shagrot, in my infinite wisdom, have a pretty good idea of the inspiration behind the Imps, and I don't think it's really been discussed online before. But no, I don't think the Imps were originally meant to be children. And the lame and rather unfortunate reason for this is because it was just weirdly popular in the late noughties, early 2010s to make fun of short people in video games. PvZ was released in the same year as Borderlands, for example, in which the lowest caliber of enemy, which shares all the same traits as the Imps, short stature, high-pitched voice, and very energetic, was literally just named Midget, which sucks. I think the Imps were just a riff on the then current trope, but as the franchise progressed and they probably realised it was not a very good look, they started to make them a bit more child-coded. Now admittedly, that is all assumptions from me, but I think nowadays you could definitely argue that this theory has some weight behind it. Theory 2. Shagrot has already failed his New Year resolutions. This one is unfortunately true. I'll give myself a pass on improving upload schedules, I've been pretty ill recently, but as for eating healthy, it's just so difficult. But thanks to today's sponsor, Factor, it's about to get a whole lot easier. Factor is a meal delivery service that ships fresh, healthy, never frozen meals straight to your doorstep. For me personally, the biggest hurdle to eating healthier is consistency. Eating healthy is super important, sure, but cooking healthy every day, day in, day out for weeks and months and even years, the ceaseless piles of washing up and planning weeks of groceries out, it's no wonder I just cave into that unhealthy takeaway lifestyle. But with Factor's chef-prepared meals that are ready in just 2 minutes, it has never been easier to stay eating clean. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success, with over 35 dietitian-approved meals to choose from per week, and even accommodating keto, calorie-smart, vegan and vegetarian diets, as well as many more. And these aren't like any of your bog-standard sodium-packed microwave meals that you'll find at your local supermarket. These meals are straight up gourmet, featuring premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccolini, and asparagus. Best of all, get 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box order using my link. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring my video, and seriously, I wish you all the best of luck staying healthy. Crazy Dave is the last human on Earth. This one only really has one piece of evidence to the theory. The fact that Crazy Dave is the only human we meet throughout all the games. This would explain why he's so kooky. But the fundamental flaw of this theory is that the player is kind of diegetic, as Crazy Dave directly refers to us as neighbor, meaning that we're playing as a character in the game. But I don't think that matters too much, as it still means that Crazy Dave is the only non-player character left on Earth. I like this theory, as it hints to a much more bleak setting for the silly tower defense that we all cling onto for dear life. How do I rate this one? I think it's true, or at least the truest theory in this video. And now that I've given you enough time to leave your rage bait comment, let me address the annoying snot-nosed ginger elephant in the room. PopCap must have thought that their audience was just too mature, and their games weren't relating to children enough. So in the latest installment to the franchise, they introduced the relatable character Patrice Blazing. So that's the theory busted, right? Well, no actually, because when I went to the Play Store to confirm this, there was no PvZ free to be found, so in my mind, it's not canon yet. So for the time being, I think this theory is confirmed. Crazy Dave and Dr. Zomboss were once partners. Now unfortunately, this theory is suggesting that they were lab partners and not romantic partners, which is lame. We already know that Crazy Dave and Zomboss had a long-standing scientific rivalry, but this unsourced theory suggests that the two used to be a scientific duo, skilled in biological engineering, and possibly working for the Bloom and Doob seed company. Their research eventually led to the creation of the mutant plants and undead zombies. However, a lab accident caused Dave to lose his sanity, while Zomboss died and turned into an intelligent zombie. Dr. Zomboss feels resentful towards society, so he raised an army of the undead. I mean, this theory definitely feels possible, but I personally like to feel that there was at least a little something romantic going on there. They're just too set on each other now, you know. Crazy Dave is an evil mastermind. For this theory, I'm combining a bunch of theories that I found all led to the same eerie conclusion, including Brando's cannibalism theory, which you should definitely check out if you haven't seen it. The center of this theory is that Crazy Dave, who's just regular Dave to a fellow like me, has suspiciously a lot to gain from the zombie apocalypse. Namely, that his awful seed shop that he runs from the back of his scruffy beat up car is now absolutely booming in business now that the world needs to defend themselves. We already knew that Crazy Dave has a scientific background, so it's not completely out of the question that he could have orchestrated something like this before he was crazy, if he ever was crazy to begin with. Many of the theories under this umbrella like to state that Crazy Dave is faking his titular craziness, and some of them outright state that he's working for the zombies. In the second game, there is a lot of really weird things that Crazy Dave says between the levels that always struck me as a bit odd. Another one of the common notes shared with this group of theories is that the Bloom and Dude seed company has something to do with this, and maybe plays a larger role in the conflict than we're aware of, and Crazy Dave could potentially be at the center of it. I do think that it's really weird that the Bloom and Dude seed corp is referenced in every single game, but we know practically nothing about them. In fact, the only thing we do know about the company is that it was founded in 1968, as it was revealed in the PvZ official guide to protecting your brains, which was a sort of guidebook for the first two games, and also the Facebook game. How plausible is this theory? Again, I can't lie, I think this one is totally plausible. I can really see PopCap taking the lore in this direction, but I think if they do, they would make it so Crazy Dave is a sort of unintentional mastermind, where he's at the center of everything, but almost by accident. The player dies at the end of the first game. I love this theory because this is exactly the kind of thing I would have got lost in scouring the internet for information when I was 12. At the end of the first game, when you're being serenaded by a sunflower with heavenly vocals to celebrate your victory over Zomboss, you can clearly see a zombie sneak into your house. Not only that, but you get handed that defeat scream mid-song complete with the blood-curdling scream that still haunts our collective nightmares. That is kind of the entire theory though. I like it enough. I don't believe this one's true, however, as it comes down to whether the music video is canon or not. And if this music video is canon, I take great grievances with the talking dolphin. I'm gonna eat your brain. I'm not ready to come to terms with that. Okay, so that is practically every reasonable theory I could find for Plants vs Zombies. But during my research, I came across a lot of less than reputable theories that I'll quickly go over now in a sort of rapid fire round. This time, however, I want you guys to tell me in the comments whether you think these are accurate or not, because I'm not gonna lie, they're a bit funky. Crazy Dave is the pyro from Team Fortress 2. This theory reads in full as, quote, "They're both crazy and have similar body structures. From the grunt, they are both male." This one does have the tiniest amount of credibility, seeing as there are PvZ themed items in the game, which means there is kind of a connection. But from memory, I'm pretty sure the pyro is insinuated to be female. The entire game is one introverted gardener's dream about an upcoming family gathering. This one is really weird, but kind of charming. I'll read out the full thing, but again, this one, like 99% of the ones in the video, are unsourced, but I've got it on TV Tropes. The plants are the gardener's job seeping into his dreams. The zombies represent the family members, including a hockey fan relative and a nephew that plays football. The hordes of zombies attacking are the gardener's fear and dislike of crowds seeping into his dream. The gathering is possibly for a funeral or otherwise at a cemetery, which seep into the dream as the gravestones at night that mysteriously appear out of nowhere while not existing during the day. The mini-games represent different versions of the dream that occur throughout the night. I like this one a lot as it reads as someone perceiving their own fears through Plants vs Zombies, which is kind of sweet. Crazy Dave is a Time Lord and Penny is his TARDIS. This is just the pyro one, except only 5% of my audience is going to understand it. Plants vs Zombies is a virtual version of the Death Note. Hear me out on this one because there is something here. Shortly after Michael Jackson was added to the game, he passed away. Pretty eerie, right? This one is easy to confirm or deny, however, as they just recently added Jeff Goldblum to the game. Recently, in like the last 10 years. So we just need to keep an eye on Jeff Goldblum and see how that turns out. I have one more category of video left for you, and it is my absolute favorite. These are the theories by people who don't quite understand what theories are. I won't lie, these are really bad, but don't be too mean because they were probably just written by people that either don't have a great understanding of English or just are children. The title of the first theory in this category is, in the sequel, Crazy Dave is taking history lessons. And the full theory reads as follows. And he is keeping it a secret, plus he requires a time machine. That's the full theory. I have no idea who wrote this, but I am confident this one is not AI generated. Plants vs. Zombies is the reason why so many zombie including media are often dark and cloudy. The crutch of this theory is that zombie media needs to be dark and gloomy as to limit the amount of anti-zombie plants that could be used. This one reads more like a joke that you'd find in the Christmas cracker. This next one is my absolute favorite in this section. The zombies wear shoes because if they didn't, it would cause rashes or burns or something on their feet. That's the full title. And this one's amazing because the rest of the paragraph is just highlighting every shoeless zombie that disproves this theory. Incredible. And to wrap up the video with a real stinker, Crazy Dave is Dave from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Now we've reached the end of the video, I've got to say, I am a little bit disappointed. I was really hoping for something big, something that ran deep. All of these were either just memes or a bit too shallow for my liking. So I'm going to end this video on a call to action. I know I have some staggeringly creative people out there in my audience, and I want you guys to go out there and replay the games and find me a real Plants vs. Zombies conspiracy theory. Go out there and find me a lead. Actually, I lied. That wasn't the end of the video, as I want to reward my loyal viewers who watched to the end with some juicy information on a cancelled video of mine. I recently spent a bunch of time working on a project about fake merchandise, and I think it was really funny, but I pulled the plug on it for two reasons. One, there was already too many videos out there about Plants vs. Zombies merchandise, but the other reason is much more infuriating. One of the central points of the video were these absolutely insane bootleg shower curtains that I found. There's a bunch of them and they're all hysterical, but I really like this one weird Plants vs. Zombies shower curtain. It's just ridiculous. And I had the insane idea to buy one of them and install it on my very own shower as a little bit for the video. Like, that's a really funny idea, right? But what do you think could go wrong with that plan? What is the worst thing that could happen with that little bit? Because I considered all sorts. The curtains arrive and they're too small or too large, and maybe they don't arrive at all. But what I didn't expect to be so annoying, what I didn't think was one of the possibilities that could possibly go wrong, was that while I was sleeping, and incredibly ill might I add, my landlord waltzed into my house uninvited, not even affording me the courtesy of a knock at my door, just letting himself in with a spare pair of keys, and dismantled my shower curtain rails while I was sleeping. I just woke up at like 7 in the morning to loud drillings and a dirty fucking leech installing some glass shower guards I didn't ask for. So yeah, I had to scrap that video because I no longer have shower curtains. Is that not insane? So yeah, sorry this video was late, but my last project had to be scrapped. Thank you all very much for watching. Cheers.